There are additional tools in TIBCO Spotfire that are useful in improving IBD-based analysis. Data preprocessing provides such a set of tools that includes normalization of data, removal of rows, imputation to replace missing values, average of replicates, and transposing of matrices for data transformation. Let's start with the normalization tool, which allows the user to normalize data in various ways. Select the table containing the value columns on which to perform the normalization. Select the value columns to normalize from the available columns list and click Add. There are a variety of methods to focus on column or row normalization. During row normalization, we will have to select the reference column for log change or log fold change. Select this Overwrite Existing Column checkbox to replace previously added columns from this type of normalization. The normalized data are added as new columns to the data set and the original data columns are not affected. Using Remove Rows, it is possible to delete a set of records from a selected table by making use of filters based on removing non-significant patterns. These filters are designed to prepare the data for subsequent analysis, for example, clustering. This operation can be undone from the Undo functionality. Check the corresponding checkboxes for filters you want to apply, except for column contains. Threshold values can be introduced as a percentile except for column contains. A value of 50 corresponds to the median value, a value of 25 corresponds to the first quartile, and a value of 75 to the third quartile. For column contains, select data column and value to define rows that should be filtered out. We can also filter based on probe set IDs of interest. The imputation tool aims to replace missing values in a selected dataset by allowing empty values to be replaced. All we need to do is select Data Table and add the columns that will be involved in the imputation process. We now need to select the imputation method and can replace empty values by any constant, row or column average, or using KNN impute as the imputation method. This introduces the number of neighbors to be used in the imputation. The introduced K value must be less or equal than the number of input data table rows. Otherwise, the OK button will be disabled. The Average Replicates tool allows the user to combine replicates based on a defined row identifier. The tool will calculate a new value for each column of the table as average of all rows in this column that share the same row identifier. This can be used to summarize all experimental data or to generate replicate averages and variability for subsets of the data. The Transpose Matrix tool is used to rotate a dataset so that columns become records and vice versa. Transposing may be necessary if the user wants to be able to use the data in a certain type of visualization or to get a better overview of the data. Let's look at a data table to see how transposing works in practice. We will select the Quality Control table here, where we want to turn the columns into rows and vice versa. Once we've selected the table and columns we want to transpose, we just click OK. We will now get a new data table where all the columns and rows have been transposed. We can compare it to the original table to see how the transposing has worked. Please refer to pages 312 to 425 in our manual for an overview of tools that can be used in IBD. For further information and tutorials, please visit www.integromics.com